Welcome to this video. In this video, we'll solve some polynomial exercises. Okay. First exercise we'll solve is how do you identify if an expression in a polynomial in one variable or not. For that, we need to learn about polynomials. A polynomial looks something like that. So you have an algebraic expression. Each of these an, xn, and so on, they're called a term. A term is composed of a variable x in this case. The variable has an exponent. So for example, in this case, it's n. All variable exponents have to be whole number. You cannot be a fraction or a negative number. The a's that you can see here, they are coefficients. Each of the power of x's have a respective coefficient. They all have to be constants. And the coefficient of the highest exponent, xn, has to be not zero. So it has to be non-zero. The value n, which is the highest exponent in this case, that is called degree of the polynomial. Moving on, let's look at the first problem. Okay. The first problem is we have to identify whether an expression is polynomial in one variable or not and why. There are 5 questions. At the end of this, you would have understood how to do such problems. First one. 4x squared minus 3x plus 7. Okay. Now, let's look at this polynomial. It has 3 terms, 4x squared minus 3x and 7. The highest exponent is 2. All exponents are whole numbers. So it's 2, 1, and if you think of it as an x power 0 here. All coefficients are kind of constants and the coefficient of the x squared is not 0. Hence, it's a polynomial in one variable. Let's go to the second one. Now the second one is also a polynomial in one variable. The variable is y and the highest power is 2. Look, the coefficients itself can be an irrational number. The coefficient doesn't have to be whole number. Only the exponent has to be whole number. Third one. So this one, what do you think? Is it a polynomial or not? It's not, because the t is a variable here and its power, the exponent, is half. So root t is also t to the power of half. Since that exponent, it's not a polynomial. Next one, y plus 2 divided by y. It's not a polynomial in one variable. Why? Because the 2 divided by y, the exponent of y is minus 1, which is not a whole number. Final one. What about this one? X, y, and t, 3 variables, and the powers are all whole numbers. What about this one? It is a polynomial, but it is not a polynomial in one variable because it's 3 variables. Okay, so that is the answer, and that's the reason why it is not a polynomial in one variable, but it is a polynomial. Let's go to the next one. How do you identify a coefficient in the polynomial? In the previous slide, you saw what is a coefficient. Let's try to identify. So in this case, we've been asked to identify coefficient of x squared. So we have the first one where you have 2 plus x squared plus x. What is the coefficient? It's not there, which means it's 1. So the coefficient of x squared is 1. Second one, also coefficient here, minus 1, right? So that's what it is. Third one, what's the coefficient here? Look at that. It's pi by 2. So the coefficient does not have to be like an integer or a whole number. It can even be something like pi by 2. Fourth one, what's the coefficient here? Do you see x squared here? No, you don't. This is an interesting trick question. So there is no x squared here, but there is a coefficient of x squared. What is the coefficient of x squared? If you write the equation as 0 multiplied by x squared, which is 0, then the coefficient becomes 0. Okay, so that's the answer. So in this section, we learned how to find a coefficient of a particular x power. So in this case, x squared. Let's look at the third part, which is examples of monomial, binomial, and trinomial. But what are these? It's basically based on number of terms. So monomial has one term, binomial has two, and trinomial has three. So you can see an example here. Let's look at the example. So we've been asked to give an example of binomial of degree 35. So it's a combination. This also includes degree. But let's see. So what is the degree? Degree is the highest power. How many terms does binomial have? 2. So I have taken an example where it is x to the power 35 plus x. I mean, you could have put even constant here, it doesn't matter. Or you could have put a coefficient which is not 1, but x to the power 35 makes it degree 35. 2 terms makes it a binomial. Next, monomial of degree 100. How do you do this? Monomial means how many terms? 1. So degree 100 is x power 100. I mean, you could have had any a, okay? I've picked a in this to be 1, but you could have said 10x to the power 100 and so on. But the key is there has to be one term and the highest power has to be 100. Okay, let's look at the 4 part. How do you find degree of a polynomial? So we already saw degree of a polynomial is the largest exponent, okay? Of all the variables of x, what is the largest exponent? So in this case, what's the largest exponent? So you have x to the power 1, x to the power 2, and x to the power 3. Hence the degree is 3 because x cube is the largest, x3 is the largest exponent. Second one, in this case it is 2. Why? Because y square, right? So that's the largest exponent. In this case, what is it? 1 because t to the power 1. Last one, this is an interesting one. If it's just a constant, what is the degree? Now the 3 can be written as 3 multiplied by x to the power 0. Hence the degree is 0. So x to the power 0 is 1. That is why degree is 0. Now, finally, how do you determine if a polynomial is linear, quadratic, or cubic? So linear, quadratic, and cubic is determined by degree, not terms. So you can have a linear with lots of terms, but the highest power is 1. Quadratic is highest power is 2, and cubic highest power is 3. Okay, shall we see? Classify. First one, x square plus x. What is the degree? 2. Hence it is quadratic. X square, x minus x cube. What is the degree? 3. Why? Because you have x to the power 3. So it is cubic. Y plus y square plus 4. What's the degree? 2. Because that's the highest power. So it is a quadratic polynomial. 1 plus x. What's the power of x here? 1. Hence it is linear. Not final, I think we have more. 3t. It's linear because degree is 1. R square. Degree is 2. Hence it is quadratic. 7x cube. Degree is 3. It is cubic. Why is degree 3? Because x power 3. In this case, it's r square, hence it is 2. In this case, it's t to the power 1, it's 1. Okay. So, in this exercise, we looked at how to do quadratic, cubic, and linear. But over the last 5 exercises, you've learned about monomial, trinomial, binomial based on number of terms. You've learned about polynomials in general. How do you know if it's a polynomial in one variable or not? Then how do you classify it, linear, quadratic? How do you find degree and so on? So hopefully you've learned how to do these exercises well. Thank you for watching. Soon we'll look at other videos solving other problems. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon. You will get further notifications when we publish a new video.